Hello, and welcome to my super niche YouTube channel, Japanese Audio Fixer. I've been living in Japan for a very long time, and about a year ago I started rescuing sad and half-dead audio kit from thrift stores and various other places, and trying to bring them back to some kind of meaningful existence. I absolutely love all of this old Japanese stuff, especially the tube stuff, like this trio WX300 that you can see here. And it pains me to see it all go to waste. So I kind of learned a bit of electronics along the way, and I mean a bit. And so far, after several dead ends and start overs along the way, I think I've had a success rate of about 65%. So, warts and all, I'll be documenting some of my restorations on this channel from now on, just in case you find that interesting. And maybe we can make some small contribution to precious resource sustainability along the way. So before we get started, bit of a disclaimer. Mains voltage is very dangerous stuff. So if you do decide to take something on, then there are a few things you should bear in mind. If you're going to open things up, start poking around, then if it's plugged in, even if it's not plugged in some cases, there will be significant risks of electric shock. You might even end up with some fire. You may even damage the equipment, which I've done a bit. Vacuum tube equipment especially can run at several hundred volts DC in certain places. If you start poking around in that, it could pose a significant risk to your life. Projects and information are provided as is. You take on all the risks and damages if you do anything to yourself and to your property. And you should be using proper testing equipment, making sure that you know what you're doing before you get into anything too complicated. So please bear those in mind if by some small miracle this channel inspires you to go off and try a few things for yourself. Now, a second disclaimer, less legal and more personal, in case anyone starts leaving comments like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? If putting those kind of comments in there, what I'm not doing is restoring equipment back to full original as new state. I'm just not going to be trying to source authentic new old stock components for those replacements. What I am doing is trying to get things to work or work a little better. Trying to preserve as much of the original state of each piece as I can, which means I'll be probably using modern components and just trying to get things working better. And also learning a bit about electronics along the way. And I am an very enthusiastic amateur. I've got no background in this, no qualifications in this area. But it's fun, which is why I'm going to keep doing it and try and document some of these things along the way. So the first project, which I'm going to try and document as we go, is this national Z-2 radio. And you can kind of see a bit of it here. And you can kind of see what it looks like a bit inside here, or what it should look like at least. It's manufactured in 1938, 1939. At the time, it was priced at about 23 yen, which I think was about a week's wages. So it's a pretty, not serious, but hefty piece of kit for the time. As we move into the war years themselves, we begin to see more standardized radios that become cheaper and simplified, a bit like the Volksempfänger sets, which were in every home in Germany during the war. It uses what's called a Namion, a 4-tube topology with a rectifier, a detector, a signal amplifier, and then an output tube. And interestingly, the speaker field coil doubles as a choke in the power supply, just to smooth out some of the dodgy DC and get a decent DC supply. So I did manage to find a schematic, which you can see here, somewhere on one corner of the internet. and you can see that the circuit, what we could do, divide the circuit into three areas. First of all is the RF signal capture here, which takes and detects the radio waves, puts audio into the gain tube here, and then the output tube here, which drives the speaker. And making sure that everything gets the juice that it needs is the power supply section here. So let's maybe go through those a little bit more. First of all, let's look at the power supply, and you can see that the mains comes in here, goes through the power transformer where it steps up, steps down the mains AC to the voltages that are needed to drive the unit, and then the AC is rectified to DC. That rectified DC needs a bit more work, so it comes through one capacitor, then through the excuse me, then through the choke. Well, this is serving as a choke coil here, and then a second smoothing capacitor, which then puts out the DC, which is powering the anodes on each of these tubes. If we look at it from the other side, the radio frequency comes in through the aerial here, through the antenna. That finds its way into the tuning capacitor, which you could see on the schematic here. So we're tuning using a capacitor. That signal is then picked up by the signal detector, and then that's driven through into the audio section. Now, what's kind of quite interesting about this circuit, I think, is this regenerative feedback. So you can see that this feedback coming into here, and this is then being driven back into the anode. So what is this all about? This is kind of varying the gain. So this is actually serving as a what do you call it? It's kind of the volume control here, and then the strength of the signal is then picked up by this first gain tube here. This probably times 10s the signal, times 20s, I don't know, I'm not really sure. Which then via the transformer that you can see here, the output tube then drives the speaker. So that's kind of the topology that we're looking at here. Now, my action plan for this thing is, first of all, to clean it up. It's in a bit of a state. We'll get a proper look at it in a minute. The cabinet's kind of a bit broken up. A few chips and cracks here. I think it's actually coming apart in some areas, so we can stick that back together eventually. But I think what we'll first of all, is take out the actual unit, the electronics unit here. And we'll do some cold tests on the transformers, make sure that they're not shorted or anything. We'll check some passive components, see if the resistors are in the right kind of range. And then I'm guessing that both power supply capacitors and coupling capacitors between different sections are probably dried out, completely shot. So we'll be replacing those with modern things. And then we'll kind of put a bulb limiter on it, bring it up, see if we can get the thing to work. If all's good, then we'll move on to more of the cosmetics, do a proper cleanup, proper tidying up, fixing of the cabinet. And then maybe, I haven't really decided yet, we might end up adding a sort of switchable Bluetooth receiver, just for the hell of it, just to see if it can be done. And I kind of quite like that sort of modern technology with 90-year-old technology interface, and we'll see how it goes. So that's where we're going. Next video, we'll actually look at the unit and get some views on it, see what it looks like, see what needs doing, and get started with a bit of a cleanup. Thank you for listening. See you next time.